What is up, everybody? George's Vinyl and More. Back to give you guys another video here. If you missed the last installment, it was my top 20 records of all time, and this is kind of a follow-up video for that. I got 7 albums here that are my next 7 up, give or take, and so yeah, this is kind of like an honorable mention kind of thing. These were all in contention to get on the list. Felt a little bit bad about leaving some of these off, so yeah, I thought I'd make another video. Couldn't decide between 5 or 10, so we're just going to do 7. Go through them just like last time. I'm going to list off my 3 favorite tracks from each, talk a little bit about each one, what makes it so great, and yeah, we'll go from there. I am shooting this on the iPad again. We're waiting on some batteries to come in for my camera, so yeah, quality here in the near future will be improved, so just bear with me on that. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I wanted to mention, so we'll get into talking about some of these albums. This was very close. This first honorable mention pick was very close to getting on the list. It had another album in the top 5 from the same band, which was Foxtrot. This is my second favorite record from Genesis. The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, 1974, double album. Obviously, it's a concept album, the story of a young half Puerto Rican kid in New York just trying to find his way. Peter Gabriel put the whole thing together. Super creative concept album, great prog rock, great playing, great songs. 3 favorite tunes on this one would be The Carpet Crawlers, really cool, kind of spooky, atmospheric tune. Broadway Melody of 1974, which is pretty damn heavy for Genesis. Really like that one a lot. And let's see here. I'll go with The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Or no, I'll go with Counting Out Time, which was released as a single for the band ahead of this album being put out. So yeah, Counting Out Time, Carpet Crawlers, Broadway Melody of 1974. Really cool album. The only thing that keeps this from being my favorite Genesis record, because I do love it a lot, but the only thing that keeps it from taking that spot would be some of the filler on side 2. If it just was the first disc and it was reduced down to a single LP, it'd be a lot closer to Foxtrot, but yeah, that's the only thing that kept it off the list, just a little bit of the filler, but still, great album, love it a lot, check it out. Genesis, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, first pick for honorable mentions. This band also had an album on the top 20 list, which was Point of No Return, but this one is just a hair behind it. Kansas Left Overture from 1976. Just like Point of No Return. Really cool album cover. Yeah, 3 favorite tunes on this one would be The Wall, one of Steve Walsh's greatest vocal performance. The Wall, Miracles Out of Nowhere, which is a great piece of prog rock, super outstanding playing, everything's very tight on that. And then third favorite would be Opus Insert, great vocals by the late Bobby Steinhardt and Steve Walsh. Love that chorus, the harmonies there are beautiful. Yeah, everything on this, just like Point of No Return, is great. Awesome playing, great production, everything about it. Really wanted to get this on my top 20, but had to, there's only so much you can fit in when you're doing 20, and I do like Point of No Return just a little bit better. So yeah, that's my second honorable mention pick. My third honorable mention pick, one of the most beloved bands of all time, one of the most beloved singers of all time. Of course, I'm talking about Queen and Freddie Mercury. Favorite record from them. Again, close to making it to my top 20. So yeah, this is their debut, Queen 1, Queen, whatever you want to call it, from 1973. 3 favorite songs on this one would be Keep Yourself Alive, My Fairy King, and Son and Daughter. Son and Daughter is my favorite Queen song. Yeah, by the time Son and Daughter was put out in 1973, there's not a lot of things that were heavier than it. Killer guitar work from May on that song, super crunchy. And yeah, Freddie's vocals on that are absolutely kick-ass. Love Son and Daughter, but everything else is great too. Obviously, Modern Times Rock and Roll, Roger Taylor singing on that one. That's also a very heavy song. You got Doing All Right, really cool kind of ballad tune. Kicks up later on. Great King Rat. Every song on this is great. Favorite Queen record. like a lot of Queen albums, Queen 2, Sheer Heart Attack, Night at the Opera, but this has always been my favorite, as ever since the first time I heard it. It's a very unique album, super experimental. Some of the songs are a little bit quirky, but I think it works great. Love it. Queen 1, third honorable mention pick. Next album comes from my second favorite band to ever walk the earth. We got 1971, Uriah Heep, Look at Yourself. There's the guys on the back. I mentioned in my top 20 album list that I really wanted to get this one on here, but Demons and Wizards is my favorite Heep record, and I believe that took the number 3 spot. And like I said earlier, you can't fit everything on when you're talking about 20 albums, but this was very close. This is definitely heavier than Demons and Wizards, more experimental. This is before Gary Thane gets in the band, though, so the bass work is not as good. Love Gary Thane's bass work, super underrated. With all that being said, my 3 favorite tunes would be the title track, Look at Yourself, super heavy. Shadows of Grief, which is kind of like a proto-doom metal song, very experimental. David Byron sounds great on it. And then I'll go with Love Machine, which is also extremely heavy, great riff, a lot of fun. Love this record, Uriah Heep, Look at Yourself from 1971. One of the heaviest albums to come out that year. Super cool stuff. That's my 4th honorable mention pick. My 5th pick for this episode, this is an original copy from my dad, Van Halen 2, 1979. Obviously, huge band, favorite Van Halen record. Rest in peace, Eddie. Great work, not just on this album, but across their whole discography. David Lee Roth sounds great on this, Screaming Up a Storm. Then you got Michael Anthony on bass, Alex Van Halen on drums. Killer album. Favorite tunes on this one would be You're No Good, the Linda Ronstadt cover. And then my 2 favorite Van Halen songs of all time, Light Up the Sky and Somebody Get Me a Doctor. So killer. Some of the probably my 2 favorite songs in 1979, if you're not counting Strangers in the Night. But yeah, Somebody Get Me a Doctor is great. Riff is killer. David Lee Roth, absolutely in his heyday on this album. Sounds super cool. This is like Van Halen's party album. Everything on here is a lot of fun. Love this record. If you've heard of Van Halen and you haven't heard this record, go check it out. It's by far my favorite. You can decide what your favorite is for yourself, but I think this is as good as it gets. Van Halen 2 from 1979, my 5th pick. Last 2 picks here. This is a killer album, one of the best debuts of all time. 1973, self-titled Montrose. American hard rock at its best. One of the heaviest albums to come out, ever up to that point. It's super heavy. Great guitar work from Ronnie Montrose. Obviously, you got Sammy Hagar, who would later be in Van Halen. Don't mind that stuff. The Van Hagar stuff's okay, but if you haven't heard Sammy on this album, you got to go give it a listen. 3 favorite tunes on this one would be Rock the Nation, great song to open up the album. Bad Motor Scooter and Space Station Number 5, which would probably be my favorite song on the record. But yeah, killer stuff. Really wanted to get this on the top 20. It's such a cool album. Just straightforward American hard rock. Heavy, anthemic, a lot of fun to play. Definitely go check this Montrose album out. Love it to death. And my last pick for today, got to get some Hendrix on here in the honorable mention. Favorite Hendrix record, Axis Bold as Love from 1967. Obviously, you got the downward gatefold, turns into a poster. I have this on the wall in my room. But yeah, love Hendrix. Sure, all of you guys have heard of Jimi Hendrix. Great guitar player, terrific voice, really good songwriting too. But my 3 favorites on this one would be, let's go Spanish Castle Magic, which is probably my favorite Jimi Hendrix song. Really heavy, psychedelic, really cool number. So I'll go with Spanish Castle Magic, Bold as Love, and Castles Made of Sand. Really tough to pick 3 on this. Every song's great. Really beautiful. Some of these songs are just tear-jerking. It's awesome. But, yeah, here's the inside of the gatefold. Obviously, Mitch Mitchell on drums. Super influential there. But, yeah, that's my last pick for today. Jimi Hendrix, Axis Bold as Love, 1967. Favorite Hendrix record. Go check it out if you haven't heard it yet. So, yeah, there's my 7 honorable mentions. And, I did want to mention one more thing. Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti should have been on my top 20. The reason I forgot about it is that's one of the few records that's actually back at my house. I'm up at my dorm room here at college, so didn't have that one. But, yeah, that's definitely in there somewhere. But, yeah, that's my next 7 up outside of my top 20. All super cool albums. Wanted to get each and every one of these on the list, but like I said, you know, you can only fit so much in. So yeah, if you haven't heard some of these, go check them out. Let me know what you thought of the list below. And like I said, we'll get this camera fixed, and we'll get this up and running. I'll start pumping out videos more regularly for you guys. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and take it easy.